Okay, this is chapter 9, practice test part 2. Okay, so number 10. Mrs. Jackson buys a package of 600 napkins. Oh, Mr. Jackson, 600 napkins. He uses 335 napkins for family dinners. Then he throws a birthday party and uses 108 napkins. He uses 12 napkins to clean up the spill. How many napkins does he have left? Okay, you could choose to do a bar diagram. There is definitely not TMI in here. You're going to use all of that. So imagine he starts out with 600 napkins. He buys one of those big, huge packages. There's 600 napkins in it. He uses 335 of them for a dinner. Then he has some left over. You have to figure out what that is. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Okay. Then he throws a party, and of the ones he has left over, he uses 108 of those. Then you have to figure out how many he has left over then. Then he uses 12 napkins to clean up an oops spill. And now we want to know, now, after all of that, how many napkins does he have left? You have plenty of room to do all of your work in there. Okay, make sure you circle your answer so we know what it is. Okay, pencils are down, please. All right, number 11. Yasmin earned $283 from her babysitting job and $45 from walking dogs. She earned a lot of money. She spent $139 of this money on a wedding present for her aunt. How can Yasmin find out how much money she has left? You don't even need to figure it out, okay? But if you read this, it can be very confusing. So my suggestion is, they're not asking you for an answer, but my suggestion is work it out and then go back and say, what did I do? Which one of these did I work? Now, here's the tricky part. Choose all that apply. Okay, so let's think about it. We earned $283 and we earned $45, right? Then, once we figured out how much money we have, we spent some of it. So this is a two-step operation, right? Okay, so you have to look and see, okay, am I going to add 45 and 238 and then subtract 139? Am I going to subtract 139 from 283 and then add 45? Pay attention. Pay attention. It might not be the way that you would do it, but it might work. Okay? If I add 283 and 45 and then subtract 139, or I subtract $45 from $283 and then I add 139, or I add 139 and 45 and then I subtract 283. So you have to figure out what's my best way of doing this and then see, which of these steps make sense. It's tricky. It's tricky. I will tell you, just to help you out on this, I'm not going to help you on the test, but I will tell you on this one that 1, 2, there's 3. There's 3 that are correct. Okay? One of them, you're going to go, what? Who would do that? But try it, and it actually works. See if you come up with the same answer, okay? All right. This one, describe how to regroup to solve the subtraction problem below. What's the difference? Okay, when you do your subtraction with regrouping and you do it clearly, I can see how you are regrouping. So you don't have to use words to tell me I took 1 away from the tens column and put it into the ones column, okay? But you do have to show your work so I can see that you regrouped. Does that make sense? Okay. Mitch is finding the difference between 254 minus 125. Does Mitch need to regroup? You're going to have to write it vertically and see if he needs to regroup, okay? If he does, explain how he should regroup. If he does not, explain why he does not, okay? Again, this one. You just do the subtraction problem and make sure this subtraction problem right here, work it out here and make sure I can see your regrouping. Okay? So you need to write the problem vertically, right? You're going to write this problem vertically here, and you're going to tell me yes, he needs to regroup, or no, he doesn't need to regroup, and tell me why. It's either more on the floor, need to go next door, or more on the top, no need to stop, right? Okay, but I want to see the work too. Does that make sense? Okay, I want to see the answer. Oh, well, here's where you do the answer. So here's where you're going to tell me yes or no, you need to regroup and why. And then here you're actually going to do the problem. Do you see that? Yes? Okay, flip to that, please. Okay, we crossed out number 14 on your practice test tonight. There'll just be a simple addition problem. But I need to be able to see your regrouping. Okay? But for today, for the practice test in class, just skip 14. Don't worry about doing this one. Okay. Number 15, Maggie makes jewelry out of beads. She buys 408 red beads, 240 green beads, not green beans, and 259 blue beads. How many more red and green does she have than blue? Red and green compared to blue. And not just does she have more, how many more? But red and green combined, how many more red and green together in one bag do you have than blue by itself? Okay? All right, Louisa uses place value to subtract 739 minus 737 minus 639. How many times does she need to regroup? Important. Remember, regrouping is like putting on a pair of shoes. Do you just put on one shoe? No. So if I were to do... If I were to do this, take away one and give that there. How many times did I just regroup? One, because I put on my left shoe and my right shoe. Right? So then I would do my subtraction. 1 minus 8. Is that going to work? Nope, I'm going to regroup. Okay? So, how many times did I regroup? 2. I regrouped once when I took one away and added a one here. And then I regrouped a second time when I took one away and added one here. If I just did this, okay. Oh, that's not a good example. That would still be one regrouping, but let's not do that. Okay, okay, so let's say this one, okay? More on the floor. So I take one away and do that. 15 minus 8 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. And 5. How many times did I regroup? 1. Left shoe, right shoe. I took one away and I added there. That's putting on your shoes. It's still one act. You regrouped one time. Yes? If you regrouped 3 times, it would have a thousands place value. I could do it. Let's do this. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to I have more on the floor, so I'm going to take one away and add one over here. Okay, so how many times have I regrouped so far? Once, okay? Now, 1 minus 7. Can I do that? No. So I'm going to take one away, add one more. How many did I just regroup again? Okay, so 11 minus 7 is 4. Now, 0 minus 8? Nope. Let's regroup a third time. Okay, so how many times did I regroup? 3 times. Each time, it's a pair though. Take one away, give one, that's regrouping one time. Okay? Yes?
Can you regroup with the thousands place one time?
I don't have anything to take away from it. Like, you mean like what if this was a 1 up here and I needed to regroup?
Can you regroup ones on the thousands place?
I just did right here. I just took one away and put it over there to the hundreds. If I need to add more to the thousands, I need to have another number over here. Right? Yeah? And once I regroup from here one time and I put a 1 over here, this has to be big enough to take something away because it's either, I mean, it's a 10. So, I mean, I can't have a number bigger than 9 down here. So you're never going to regroup twice on the same number like that. You can't add more and then add more and then add more. I don't need to.
That you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, because you can't be subtracting a number greater than 9. So you don't need that number that big. Okay? All right. So how many times did you need to regroup? Each pair is 1 time. You know what I'm talking about, right? So do the problem and then count the number of times you had to regroup. But remember, left shoe, right shoe. That's one. You're putting on your shoes 1 time. You're grouping 1 time. All right. The Smith family spent $457 on groceries last month. The Wilson family, different than them. Put your pencils down, please. The Wilson family spent $291. Then the Moore family, a third family, spent $338. How much less did the Moores spend on groceries than the Smiths? You have TMI in there. There's one family that we are not asking about. We care about them, we love them, but we don't need to know how much money they spent on groceries to figure out how much less the Monroes spent than the Smiths. Okay? Make sure you have the biggest number on top. You're doing subtraction, right? The biggest number has to go on top. Okay. Edison School has 332 students. Dubois School has, or Dubois has 246 students. Turner School has 199 students. How many more students does Edison have than Dubois? We do have a TMI in there, for sure. One of the schools, we don't need to know their numbers to figure out how many more students Edison has than Dubois. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, you may begin.